misperception that exists in the public mind about atheism?
Oh, there's lots of them. I would say the greatest misconception about atheism is that we're not nice people. I think that a lot of people think that morality comes from religion. Religion teaches that morality comes from religion, and therefore if you don't have religion, you don't have morality. So I think the greatest misconception of atheism is that we're not nice and or immoral.
The disagreement isn't whether atheists can be moral. It's why moral obligations exist at all. Atheists can be moral. Christianity doesn't deny that. The question isn't, can you be good? It's why good is something you ought to be.
Of course, cannot be the case. It cannot be the case because all the data combats that. The population of people who are non-religious in this country, depending on your polls, goes somewhere between 15 and 30%. The population of atheists or non-religious people in federal prisons is 0.07%. 0.07 of 1%. So the amount of people, the amount of atheists who are committing crimes is tiny compared to the amount of atheists out there.
When people point out that few inmates identify as atheist, there's important context that often gets ignored. Prisons actively encourage religious programs because they provide structure, community, and purpose. Some inmates genuinely convert. Others participate because it helps with discipline records, parole perception, or access to programs and work assignments. So prison religious statistics tell us more about incentives and environment than about which worldview is true.
On the other hand, if you look at it from a morality perspective, from an outside perspective, you can see what's happening. People change churches for a reason. They change churches because they don't agree with the church they're in. If they don't agree with the church they're in, so they say, okay, well, this church isn't doing something, it's not striking my moral fancy. I'm going to go to this church over here because it does. Well, that means morality is independent of religion. And then what they do is they go to this church over here that says, okay, your morality is correct, and God says so. And then they say, God gives me my morality, right? And it's kind of backwards, but that's how it works. The reality is that every single human picks their own morality. Morality is relative. And everybody picks it. Everybody chooses it. The only difference between an atheist and a theist is that an atheist will internalize it and say, this is my morality. And a theist will say, this is my morality because I get it from my religion.
Christians changing churches doesn't show. Morality is subjective. It shows disagreement about what's morally true. People leave because they believe one teaching is closer to the truth than another. For example, choosing a doctor doesn't mean health is subjective. It means you believe one doctor understands health better. Choosing assumes a standard. It doesn't create one.